This is I believe it's a 38 gallons. It's a cube tank, and it's been set up for at least 8 months, almost probably getting close to a year. I believe that's when I set it up, but it looked a lot different than the way it does now when we first set it up. So the Aquascape didn't have any of the Dragonstone. It was a lot plainer, I guess you'd say. It had kind of like a central focal point with just some Rotala and some wood. But then I made the change to this scape, and I've stuck with it.
Nice. What made you do the pea puffer tank?
Well, I really liked checking out your pea puffers. There was a time on YouTube where you were into those pea puffers heavy. I know you still do. Love them. You sell a lot of them at the store. But the more I thought about having my own, I was just like, I need to get into those. The fact that you can, feed them snails and watch.
Are you gonna feed them snails?
Yeah, we could do that.
You got them at the ready.
You grab a couple here.
Brewing them.
We're gonna do a video on my channel where we feed all of these snails.
Yeah.
Well, let's give them a little bit of a taste here.
How often do you feed them snails?
I try to do it every few days. I mean, I don't do anything super specific or on a routine, I guess is a better way to describe it. But oftentimes I'll just go over, see a couple snails in another tank, grab them out, put them in. But I just try and mix them in with the diet of bloodworms, small frozen bloodworms that I feed them primarily. Just put a little frozen cube in there. You know the drill.
Yeah.
You were the one that taught me a lot about these fish. So.
And then this plant up here, you don't see it in the aquarium very often. Where'd you get it?
Right. So I got it from my local fish store.
Okay.
The owner had a couple of them. I don't know where he got them. I think he got them from a hobbyist. And it's a type of Laguigia that is a floating plant. The species name escapes me.
Yeah.
But we can put it in the description.
I think they call it the mosaic plant as well.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in an aquarium, so I'm interested to see how it does.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, if I show you, I have it tucked back here for the scape.
Oh wait, it's actually rooted?
So check this out. So this is the root.
I thought it was just a floating plant.
And apparently this is supposed to be down in the substrate. We get the stem coming up to the top, but then it'll bud off new plants, and that's all I know.
I thought it was just a floating plant like the water lettuce.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, because I was like, I was honestly thinking like, Ludovicia, who does this guy think he is? A floating plant, like a stem plant. Now I'm going, I look like a moron.
So it's kind of weird. Then I don't know if these daughter plants will send off a main taproot back down to the substrate. But what I was told is that it can overwinter, and the top growth will just all die back, and you'll just be left with like a kind of like a bare stem. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see what it does.
That's pretty cool
in the aquarium. I think they're cool. You don't see these. So.
All right, tank number 2. This one I don't think YouTube's seen yet.
Oh no!
By this time they will have.
This is some exclusive footage. Yeah, I'll try. I'll get the video out.
I'm putting it out right now. Yeah, you gotta raise.
Yeah, so this is the old shrimp mountain tank. So I don't know. I keep calling it that just because I feel like people might remember it, but it's been so long. It used to have a bunch of Stone in it, and it used to have my orange shrimp that I also got from you.
Yeah.
So remember that?
Back when I tore down the fish room,
we got 2 tanks with stuff that came from you. So I had a really good colony in there for a while, but then just lost the colony over a long time.
Yeah.
And those things happen. But anyway, here now we have the rainbow endlers.
Yep.
Love those guys.
And for those that don't know, this is the Fortnite tank.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's a gamer.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So
I mean, even though it's like the biggest thing in the world right now, not everyone knows.
Yeah, the Fortnite tank. So people that watch my channel know where these trees came from. They were in a different tank once upon a time in a different scape. But I saved the trees when they're just the driftwood trees. A lot of people carry them. Do you guys carry them?
I don't. No, I saw them in China, but they're like $1 billion a piece.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
And then this has a bunch of Anubias nana petite, just kind of fashioned into the fake roots. What's really cool about these trees is that they're completely manufactured. Like, they look real. Yeah. Like, there's something, like, when I wanted to get them, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, where are people getting all these head bonsai trees from, right? But they're just completely manufactured. It's like Malaysian driftwood, some kind of filler stuff, and then the branches are just, I think...
They still look good.
I don't know. Yeah, they look great. So, I saved those, but they look like Fortnite trees. If you've played Fortnite, I think
I'll take your word for it.
A lot like the big trees in Fortnite. And then I had some S-Repens laying around, which doesn't really look like anything Fortnite related, but we needed some plants. And then I tried to incorporate the boulders that you mine for materials, and then the wooden ramps.
So let me ask you this. Stuff. It seems lately you're more, well, not more, but you're getting into like creating these themes. Like you've been doing it for like the last 18 months. So like you had the Avatar tank, and now you've got the Fortnite tank, and I know you've got like the alien theme. Is it like, is it fun to think of like, how deep can I go with this? Or does it just start with like a tiny idea and then you have no idea where it's going?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can go both ways. Like with this, I was just, me and my friends were playing the game, and I had some things that I could see being like, oh, I can make a Fortnite tank.
Yeah.
Like, and that's as far as it.
Because you were going to make it a planet tank anyway, and then it's just, it gives you a direction, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And it also, I mean, YouTube, no matter what, influences what we do as creators. Like, it just has to. And so, Fortnite being popular, and, people that watch me, they like planting tanks. If I can put two things together and potentially reach other people, and maybe get them, thinking about aquariums and stuff,
That's a good point.
I think it's great for everybody. Good for me, good for you, and good for them.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of fun. And for me, you can try and make the most realistic looking scape that you can, but at some point for me, I didn't get tired of doing that, but I was just looking for something else.
Yeah,
something different. Doing the theme stuff, like trying to make the desert tank, like we'll take a look at, that was something that was, I mean, that turned into a whole other thing. That one, I went down the rabbit hole. We'll get to that.
So that we can hop to it right now. The desert tank.
Yeah. So the desert tank right now is looking a little full, but I will say this is also one of my most well-behaved planted tanks that I've had in a long time. So there's a lot of nutrient sponges in this tank. The plants that are in here are growing at a decent rate, so that also helps.
Is it fun to? So I've been watching this series. Is it fun to try and think of what other fish or thing that can live underwater could I possibly put in here that would fit in the desert theme?
Oh yeah. I mean, and that was the whole thing for me, because I started out, I don't know where I got the idea. I think the desert came from, I was doing a jungle tank.
Yep.
Which we'll get to that. Yep. But I was like, okay, what's the opposite of a jungle?
Okay.
Or a forest. And I was like, a desert. Okay, like let's see what people have done with desert themed aquariums. So I looked up, just some Google images of scapes made from 1 million years ago. And I got some inspiration from that. And I said, okay, I know what kind of colors I need. Maybe, okay, Pogostemon helferi, that's a great, like, spiky,
and it's looking good too,
plant. Yeah, it's looking a little thick right now. It needs a trim, but
I mean, it's growing.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing good, which is a good thing.
Here, I want to keep throwing questions here, because I think it makes it a fun thing.
Yeah.
So we know there's like coolie loaches and trying to think, like the micro crabs. Mm-hmm. Were there other things, like when you're like, okay, I want to add a snake? Was there anything else besides coolie loaches? Like, were there some, like, what was the number 2 choice on some of these?
Well, I'll tell you the biggest.
Like, did you think about putting like a fiddler crab in there and going, that's a scorpion?
Well, of course. I mean, there was always a debate on, what are we gonna have for a spider? So there's different crabs. I went with the Thai micro ones just because they were one that are completely 100%.
Have you ever seen them since you put them in?
Once or twice.
Yeah.
I have some footage. I have some B-roll for my final video on this where I was doing a water change and I saw one pop out here and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get the camera. But there were a lot of choices when it came to the crabs or the spiders, but then also like the scorpions. I mean, obviously I wanted to put dwarf crayfish in here.
Yeah.
Obviously I did.
Yeah.
But I can't do that.
Right.
So I had to go with something else, and so we compromised with the dwarf neos, the black ones. So
is there stuff still to go in there? Like you got extra plans? Like, oh man, there's a
Well, I'll tell you.
You don't have to tell me what it is, but is there more in store for this tank?
I think there might be one more thing.
Okay.
I actually am editing the last video. I mean, you guys will see it now, and it'll already be out on my channel, hopefully. But we added in the hatchet fish.
Okay.
As the desert hawks.
Yeah.
They're the actual. I guess they're the second fish to be in here. The coolie loaches.
Mm-hmm.
But everything in this tank behaves very well.
Yeah, all gets along.
The coolie loaches don't bother the shrimp. They'll come out here after too long. They'll be out here eating with the shrimp. They don't bug them at all. And then the hatchets stay up top, and they don't even bother the shrimp that make their way up the UFO tractor beams.
All right, the jungle tank.
Yeah, the jungle tank. So I just cleaned this out like a couple days ago. It was...
Looked terrible, or you just overgrown, or what?
Overgrown, man.
Okay.
I mean, this, you'd have to get down here to get any kind of light through the camera. Yeah. It was bad. The Japan clover.
This is awesome.
On.
Yeah, that's the first thing when I walked into your house. I was like, dang.
I mean, it was out to here. It was growing out down the sides, way down here. It was crazy. We needed to do some work on that, but I mean, this tank is just black lava rock, and it has a little bit of earthworm castings underneath the Monterey Beach sand. I did that primarily for the hair grass. Even though,
do you think it's helping?
I mean, I think adding a substrate layer, a nutrient layer like the earthworm castings helps no matter what.
Yeah.
In this particular case, I think it would have been fine without it.
How long has the jungle tank been set up?
The jungle tank might be the oldest. It's one of the oldest ones in here. I'd say it's close to a year. I used to put a little sticky note on my tank like, the date it was set up.
That's smart.
And then like average water parameters, but we get lazy.
Yep, that happens.
And so yeah, I mean it has a lot of slow growing plants minus the.
And tell people what kind of fish these are.
Japan. So these are curry tetras are the main smaller fish in here. Some of them have a really nice purple coloring to them, but a lot of them are fairly plain. And then we have the purple emperor tetras, the big ones. There's I think 4 males in here.
And you've got the rad snails too.
Yeah, so those are the turtles from the desert tank, but they
turtles,
jumped. They jumped, man.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they jumped over.
They like this tank better than that one.
Yeah, well, it's better than on the floor. I'm glad they found their way over.
Yeah.
But it was actually really cool. Like so. I started out with 7 curry tetras in here.
Oh, wow.
And so all of these, I mean, this whole thing, I think there's been like 3 generations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it came from that overgrownness of the tank. There's a lot of hiding spots. Like, I don't know if your camera's going to pick this up. There's a bunch of mulm back here, but, I mean, there's all kinds of crazy hiding places for them.
Perfect place for Fry to raise up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's fun. I mean...
Yeah, I gained a lot more respect for this tank when I'm like, wow, all those are bred in there. I just always think that's way cooler. Just like the other tanks got shrimp breeding and that kind of stuff. Just when stuff's happy.
Yeah, and I think there might even be another generation. There's a couple really small ones right there that look like because I haven't seen any breeding activity in here for a few months. And so that could be another round. So
yeah, let's take a look at what we got going over here. Looks like a project to come. At least it doesn't have water in it yet, so
maybe. Yeah, I always say this is my favorite tank because it's the easiest to make.
There you go.
Got the dinosaur collection in there. But we'll see what happens in there. But here is, I believe, I always forget how big my tanks are.
Yeah.
I believe this is like a 12 gallon.
I would say 12, yeah.
Yeah, it might be like an 11.1 or whatever. But in here we just have a bunch of, I call them super blue shrimp.
Yeah.
I branded them myself.
Super blues.
I was like, I just want to do that. But they're from Flip Aquatics. This is kind of like Rob's sponsored tank.
Yeah, okay.
He's hooked it up with a lot of stuff that's in here. The livestock as well.
What kind of plants are going on?
So we have a mix of Monte Carlo and baby tears. Although over time, the carpet down here has become more and more Monte Carlo just from it being more of an aggressive grower, an easier plant to grow.
Yeah.
But the baby tears is just the more fine-leafed kind of plant mixed in between it, the stuff that's a little bit taller. And then there's the Hygro Penitifida, which I got from a club meeting, best buy I've ever got, because it was just like the most rock-solid Penitifida I've had.
Nice.
And I finally started having success with this plant when it was just...
What's your trick to keep it going well? Oh, fertilizer, yeah?
That's really it, because, you
Turns out you have to feed it?
Well, I think what it is it's such a potassium hog. Like, in here, I've been a little lazy on dosing. You can see all the pinholes in the leaves, and that's kind of like a default potassium deficiency. And so I've had pretty good luck with it. Stuff up here is really pink.
Yeah, it looks good.
Well, what's cool is that, so this tank looked very different when all of this Monte Carlo wasn't on this piece of Dragonstone.
Oh.
Okay, so I gotta show you this.
All right.
This is pretty crazy. So you think, oh, that looks cool. This is literally like, where's the rock?
Yeah.
This mat is so thick. It's crazy.
That's nice.
It's crazy. It's literally just hanging off, which I think is really, really cool.
How old is this tank roughly?
This tank, it's at least 6 months. So it's even older because I dry started it for, I believe, I think it was like a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So who knows?
It looks like you're injecting CO2.
Yeah, we got CO2 in the back.
How many tanks do you inject CO2 into?
I inject CO2 into 1, 2, and I used to do the pufferfish tank before when it had a rotala. But now it has all the slow growing stuff. I don't bother. Yeah, and I kind of pick and choose which tanks I put CO2 into. I mean, you can go by the rules and say, well, if you're going to put CO2, then you should dose, and then that should turn it into a high-tech tank, and you should have good lighting. Yeah. I mean, every tank has strong enough lighting to warrant CO2 and fertilizers. It just depends on what's in it, right? So I got really good, fast, crazy growth out of the Japan clover with no CO2, no fertilizers.
So yeah, you don't even fertilize in there at all, huh? Just fish food.
No, and the reason that is really important is I feed this tank a lot of food. Okay. This tank can eat. I don't know. Do I have any? I usually feed them worms.
That's how you get those worm castings down in there.
Yeah, right. I mean, I can just put pinch after pinch.
Yeah.
After pinch. You were making fun of me for my surface film because I don't have good surface agitation, but. I mean, you can go crazy in here.
Yeah.
They just don't stop. Their appetite is unstoppable, insatiable.
All right, well, let's head out in your living room because you got more tanks.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I think it's one of your more famous tanks, the waterfall tank. I've seen it all over the place. I want to know what goes into building it. That's because we're gonna look at it, but I think it looks awesome, and I want to steal your secrets.
So we can go over kind of a demo. It's hard to see back here. Maybe your camera will pick it up. Yeah. But the entire reason why this tank worked was because I had this back portion. Okay, so this is a 29-gallon BioCube, and they come like this. I didn't put this in, but basically this gave me the space to put enough pumps. Put the required amount of pumps and tubing and stuff out of the way of the scape to make it work. So it looks like none of it's there.
So you're not lifting it with air?
No, so we're using power heads.
Wow.
And that, I think it's debatable whether or not that makes it harder or easier. I've tried with air lifts, but one thing that I couldn't get past was the noise that they always made. There was fittings that you could put at the top to kind of diffuse that noise, but it was always something I wanted it to be completely silent. And so basically, I mean, you can go and watch the video to get the in-depth how exactly it worked, and you can see where things are.
That is one cool thing. Every tank that we've seen in this video, there's a dedicated video at least to, if not more.
Yeah.
On your channel, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, PVC, and we're using just pushing water at a high speed point to draw sand in through where it falls down. And you'll see over here on this left waterfall, it's slowing down and not running as good as it can. Because, I was cleaning the tank before he came over, and I bumped a little bit of this Monte Carlo. You see here,
and
a little bit is falling off, and over time, 12 hours or so, this thing will probably completely stop. So
high maintenance tank then.
Yeah, high maintenance tank. You gotta be really careful. This is something that I need to fix. But my problem with this is that the Monte Carlo in here does not want to physically attach to the Surrey stone.
Right.
It just will not do it. And so that's a big limitation of this tank, and I think will ultimately, I don't want to say ruin it.
But have to redo it or something?
It will prevent it from looking as good as it could.
Because, this one on the right-hand side is really moving.
Yeah, you'll see the Monte Carlo in here. If you compare it to the other tank, it doesn't look as good. You can tell that it's looking for something to hold on to.
Yeah.
It just can't get what it needs from that type of rock, so...
Still awesome.
It's still fun to look at.
I enjoy it.
I put it in a spot to where you can always see it when you're chilling on the couch, watching TV, and you're you're even bored from doing that, you can look at the tank.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of neon tetras in here.
All right, tell me about this beauty.
Okay, so, well, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good looking tank.
Yeah.
From far away.
So, yeah, you start to get up close, you see the little imperfections.
I kid, it's good.
Yeah, so this is I call it my nature aquarium.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of like, there's a whole lot of plants in it, and I feel like I styled it in a way that looked fairly natural.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Looks like CO2?
Yeah, we're putting a lot of CO2
Whoa,
in here.
yeah.
And there's a lot of fertilizers in here, but we have really aggressive growing plants in here, primarily the glosso down at the substrate level. There's a little bit of hair grass mixed in there, and even a little bit of Monte Carlo, but you can't really see it. But this is just a very aggressively fast growing tank. It's also really old. I think this tank is about 1 year old.
Okay.
I think I started to do the dry start in the beginning of July, or maybe it's kind of the end of June. So it's been about a year. And it was a big struggle for me to get this glosso carpet. But man, once you get it, you got it. You can hack this back to nothing. You can see nothing but sticks.
And that like root structure just makes it come back.
That root structure will not allow it to die.
What kind of substrate did you use?
So this has earthworm castings on the very bottom.
Okay.
So I used earthworm casting. I used to use just the organic soil for the longest time, but I switched to using earthworm castings because I had a feeling that my C to N ratio in the potting soil wasn't as good as it could be. So earthworm castings has a lot more nitrogen in it relative to carbon, and so that kind of prevents nitrogen from being a limiting factor in microbial startup growth and things like that. So I felt like the earthworm castings might be something that would be better, but I think at the end of the day, it's really hard to tell whether or not it actually is.
So if you didn't understand that, he's a microbiologist.
Yeah.
You literally are a microbiologist.
I used to, I was one for a little while. But it worked out. Yeah, so the earthworm castings on the bottom or soil or whatever, and then I have Akadama on the top.
Okay.
Which is kind of an uncommon substrate.
It's like a bonsai substrate.
Right.
Too,
and it's not any cheaper than than aquarium specific substrate, which is too bad. But I like it because it's an active substrate. So
sure.
It has some of those same properties as like aqua soil and stuff like that. So I think it worked out well. This tank has also gone through like 3 or 4 different scapes in the year that it's been set up for. But I kind of like sat with this one. It always had the glosso, but what's been in it hardscape wise, it's changed, and I think I finally got to one that I liked.
And the last little tank.
Yeah, we got Richard down here.
Richard.
So he's the Black Dragon Half Moon Placat.
And he's awesome.
He's pretty cool.
He's my favorite thing here, I think, honestly.
He's, when I was trying to pick out what type of betta that I wanted to get, I obviously was looking at a bunch of the kois.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, it'd be really cool to get a fish that looks like a Power Ranger, all the colors. But then I saw Richard, and I was like, he was just kind of different. I mean, there's tons of these fish out there, but
did you order them online, or how'd you get them? Okay.
Yeah, I got them online. And that kind of like allowed me to be a little bit more picky. There's a lot of choices.
You could spend days.
There's a lot of choices there too, but I like to try and support small business when I can. So,
sure.
So Richard he's got personality. He loves to eat bloodworms. I feed him good. I keep him happy, and he looks good for me. He's coming up to dance.
That's right.
Come here, buddy. He's you have Murphy, right?
Yeah. He's
your dog. This is my dog.
For sure. There he goes. Yeah, now he knows what's up. It's time for food.
He's like, hey, man, where are those bloodworms at?
Yep.
We'll get him some food a little later. But, yeah, it's just, I mean, we scaped the tank. We put minimal effort into it. Just some using up old things.
Yeah.
I end up with so much stuff. I'm like, oh, man, I need to throw a tank together. Like, okay, what can we use? So
awesome. Well, thanks for the tour, and now we'll cue Jimmy's awesome B-roll.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
See you later.